Last week at the end of my pregnancy yoga class, we were having this conversation about how once you get around 40 weeks, 39, 40, 41, you start getting this pressure from doctors to think about inducing. And it's often put forward as a suggestion for no reason other than you are close to 40 weeks and that is full term. And all of the women currently in my pregnancy yoga class have other children, so they've been through an experience of birth before. And many of them have experiences where they said yes to that initial induction and now they're kind of questioning whether they should have done that at all, and that led to further interventions. And now in their second pregnancies, they're really questioning, why do I need this first initial induction? Why do I need to kick things off? Won't labor just start on its own? But they're also starting to question, will it start on its own? Do I need an induction? And you start getting all of these questions, feeling really confused. You might start doubting yourself. And of course, at 40 weeks pregnant or around thereabouts, it's a really emotional space to be in. You are pumped up on all of the hormones. You're feeling excited about birth, nervous about birth, all of the things. And so today I just wanted to talk about 3 things I would love for you to do if you're feeling this pressure. 3 things that you can practically do to prepare yourself for birth so that you feel prepared to deal with the doctors, the midwives, and all the things that might come up during labor, just so that you can feel a little bit less anxious about the process and what's it going to be like. Instead, you can stand firmly in, I have done the best that I can do to prepare myself and I feel confident in my decisions. So let's get into those 3 things now. I have also had a similar experience around this, which is why I like talking about it. With my first birth, I was super unprepared. I think I just thought, I'm going to a hospital, they will know what to do, and that will be enough, they'll tell me what to do. Little did I know that there is often conflict between the way that the birthing body works and the medical system and its timelines and things like that. No disrespect to the people who work in these places, this is just how systems work. But our bodies are not systems and they don't work by the clock. And I didn't understand that for my first birth experience. I really went in completely blind, didn't educate myself, and the interventions that I end up having and now regret having and didn't pick for my second and my third birth were because I was just saying yes to what they were presenting to me. I wasn't asking questions, I wasn't questioning, why am I doing this? Is this the best choice for me, or is this the best choice for the system? And so that's why I'm so passionate about talking about this, because my first birth experience was traumatic. It wasn't how I wanted it to go, and I hadn't put enough preparation into preparing myself and my own beliefs and my own knowledge so that I could deal with the hospital system when I birthed in that setting. My second and third birth, I can proudly say, were the most beautiful experiences, still both in hospitals, but by then I had learnt how my body works and what I can do within the system and what questions I can ask and all of that sort of thing to support me to have the birth that I want. So you may have already guessed that the first thing I want you to do is to educate yourself. You need to know how your body works during birth from a physiological level, what it's designed to do as an animal. And you also need to know how medical interventions affect this physiological process, because that should come into your decision making when they say, I think you should do a stretch and sweep because you're 40 weeks. Yeah, but why am I doing a stretch and sweep? 40 weeks, sure. We know that pregnancies can go safely to 42 weeks. Why would I be doing that now? Why can't I just wait and see what happens if I wait? All of these questions you probably won't ask if you don't know the way that your body works and why it needs time to be ready on its own, and the important things that happen in the body to prepare you for birth and to make it happen more smoothly when we allow it to do what it needs to do. So while I go into more detail in this in my birthing course, which you'll find in my online yoga circle, just briefly, you are just like an animal. Like any animal that gives birth, it will find somewhere warm, it will find somewhere safe and dark, and it will labor and birth in that space. It doesn't find a brightly lit room with lots of people to give birth, because that doesn't make sense physiologically. It doesn't help the body to be calm and to turn inward. It knows what it needs, and in the same way, we need that exact same thing. It makes no sense for an animal to birth in a space that it feels that there would be danger, because out in the wild, if you birth in a space that's dangerous or that there are lots of other animals around, there is potential danger for your brand new newborn baby to be eaten or to be taken, all of those sorts of things. We are exactly the same. We are an animal. When you feel safe and relaxed, your body sends all its energy to the uterus to help that muscle contract strongly to push that baby out. But when you feel scared and afraid, the body goes into survival mode. It sends its energy to the extremities so that you can fight or run and get away from danger. So if you're in a space in the hospital where you feel scared because a doctor's coming in and bringing up all these scary facts about why you need to do this, this, and this, and your body goes into stress mode, then yes, your labor is probably going to stall. That is a biological function of the body that it has gone, oh, not safe to deliver this baby. We need to fight or run to get away from this danger. And so your body will naturally stall labor, which can feel so frustrating if you're like, what's wrong with my body? Why is it not doing what it's meant to be doing? But in fact, it's doing exactly what it's meant to be doing. It's keeping you and your baby safe until it feels like you are in a space where you are relaxed, where you are ready to give birth to this baby safely. So if you are in a busy hospital room with people coming in and out, bringing things to your attention that pull you out of your birthing space, and by birthing space, I mean that space within your body that you go, if that is happening to you, it's unsurprising that your labor might not progress smoothly, that it would sort of stop and start. And this is why it's so important to understand how your body works, how when interventions are proposed to you, how they're not going to work exactly in the same way that your body will work naturally. Like when our body's releasing oxytocin, which is the love hormone that makes contractions happen, how the synthetic version of that doesn't communicate with the body in the same way, doesn't create those feelings of euphoria to help with pain relief. So it will feel more painful because it's not the same as your body doing it naturally. Don't get me wrong, this is not me saying you shouldn't give birth in a hospital. All 3 of my births have been in a hospital. I think they are amazing, and it is great that you have that support should anything go wrong, should you need the assistance. Again, this is not me saying that you shouldn't take intervention where it's needed, but what I am saying is you should know when to say yes and when to say no, and how to ask the right questions and how to set yourself up, which we'll go into in the next 2 tips, so that you are not coming out of your birthing body and that birthing space to have these conversations during birth. It's too late at that point. You shouldn't be having these conversations. It's why you need that supportive birth partner, which we'll get into in the next point. The second thing you need to do as you head towards birth is get your partner on board with what you want your birth to look like, how you want to approach birth, what interventions you feel good about, what ones you don't feel good about. In order to do this, you need to know how your body works, how the medical system works with it, and have some education around that for both you and your partner. So if you're thinking about doing a birthing course, it would be beneficial if they could either join you or you get firm on your decisions and where you want and really clear on your picture of how it's going to look, and then you make sure that your birthing partner is on board with those decisions, because they're going to be so important during labor and birth so that you can stay in your space. You can stay focused on doing all the things you need to do. So using all your breath tools and your movement tools to stay on top of the sensations in your body. Let's not beat around the bush. Contractions are intense, and it's going to take your entire focus to deal with those sensations, that pain, if you will. You don't want to be pulled out to have a conversation with a doctor or a midwife, even between contractions, because that pulls you out of that space of being relaxed and puts you in a heightened space of fear and tension, which then will make contractions feel more intense because you don't have those tools, you're not in that relaxed state to help lessen the pain of the contractions. So you want your partner on board. They need to know the questions to ask to work out whether this is something that needs to be brought to your attention. And sure, if it's medically vital that you do something because your life is in danger, because baby's life is in danger, or there is some sort of safety reason there, then yeah, they'll bring it to you and they'll be like, okay, we've spoken about this. These are the facts, and now you make a decision. And they can also field those inquiries where it's not as important. They can ask the questions for you. What if we just wait? What happens if we wait another hour? What are the other options? Is anything bad going to happen to her or the baby if we wait? These questions can help you determine whether it's in your best interest and must do this intervention now, or it's just a policy that the hospital has that they keep things moving. And it's really important that your partner fields those questions so you're not being pulled out of that space, so that your labor has the best opportunity to progress smoothly. You can stay in that relaxed state that your body needs to be in to birth smoothly, so all of your energy can go to your uterus to contract so that it can open the cervix effectively and push your baby out. And then the third thing you need to do is make sure that you know how to relax your body when you feel difficult sensations in the body. So we live in a modern world where we avoid being uncomfortable. So it gets hot and we turn the air conditioning on. Do a whole range of things that really make us feel pretty moderate and comfortable most of the time. The only exception to that is during exercise, and this is why movement is so important in the lead up to birth, because it's a great preparation for learning how to feel difficult sensations in the body and be okay with them. So think about a marathon runner. When a marathon runner goes for a run, the muscles of their legs would be contracting and burning and hurting and feeling very uncomfortable. But that marathon runner has to have a mindset, has to have a practice, usually a breathing practice, in order to keep moving, to keep going, to get to the end of that marathon. Birth is very similar. Your uterus is going to be contracting, it's going to be hurting, it's going to be really intense sensations. But that uterus is doing exactly what it's meant to be doing to open up the cervix and push your baby out. And we need to have a practice, we need to have breath work and mindset and tools that we can use to relax the body, because we know that when we tighten and we think this is horrible and I want to get out, it makes the sensations more unbearable. So we need to have practices and tools to be able to relax ourselves so we can get through those sensations. The difference between the marathon and birth is that you can't stop labor. You can't say, I want out, and stop running and have those sensations stop. And that can sometimes make birth a little bit tricky to manage, because you can feel trapped by your own body, which is why it is so important that you have those skills, that your partner is teed up with how to bring you back down if you get into a stress state, because it's okay if you go there. It's okay if you spiral and have a moment where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's often right at the end, just before we give birth. But as long as your partner knows, okay, this is normal, this is going to happen, I need to help her get back to a state where she feels relaxed and is able to birth. So it is so important that you know how to bring yourself down when you are feeling those difficult sensations in the body. In my birth yoga classes, we often practice holding poses like toe stands. So it's not doing anything to your body that's dangerous, but it's an uncomfortable sensation because we often don't hold the feet in that way. It feels uncomfortable. And then we practice breathing and we practice using movement to manage that sensation. And we practice what the mind says to us when we have an uncomfortable sensation in the body, so that we have practiced this for when we're in labor and birth and those sensations are starting to get bigger and stronger and we're feeling like, I can't do this, we can come back to that mindset, back to those practices. So if you would like to learn some of these tools to help prepare you for birth, to help keep on top of these sensations, they're all in my online yoga circle. So you'll find them within my birth preparation course, which is all there, plus my Yoga for Birth series. So they are the 3 things that I really think you should do as you head towards birth to help prepare you to work within a medical system, but also work with your body. So as you head towards birth, I just want to send you all my love, all the birthing strength. You've got this. It's going to be amazing. And best of all, you're about to meet your baby. Thanks for being here. Namaste.